For the last 2 seasons, we are winners of the Motor City Bowl. We once again beat a Big Ten team. This time, it was the Ohio State Buckeyes, but it was more than that this time. We got our revenge, our payback for when they beat us down earlier in the season. Now with that said, let's move on to the next HBCU in the bowl game and look at this. The Alabama A&M Bulldogs beat the New Mexico State Aggies in the PUNT Bowl out there in San Diego, 42-38, and Kenny King went off. Over 300 yards passing, along with 4 touchdown passes. So there goes your Coach of the Year, Joseph Cooley. Back-to-back years named Coach of the Year. This time we finish at 12-2, probably one of the greatest seasons in the history of Alabama State football. Justin Chambers and Lawrence Martin. Look at Lawrence Martin's stat line. 9 tackles, 7 for loss, and 5 sacks. Meanwhile, down there in Lubbock, Texas, Jack Young sets an NCAA record for most touchdowns in the season with 57. But as you know in real life, that title now belongs to Joe Burrow. So let's look at the rest of the scores from the bowl season. You got Maryland winning. You have Texas beating Louisiana Tech. Colorado beat Michigan, by the way. Fresno State beat San Diego State 37-17. Texas A&M beat Cal in the Holiday Bowl 28-21. So as we go down this list, we once again reflect on this season. We once again get double-digit wins. We're 12-2, arguably the greatest team in Alabama State football history. This season also, we was able to see more HBCUs make bowl games. Tennessee State made a bowl game. Florida A&M made a bowl game. I believe it was Texas Southern that made a bowl game. Also, it was Alabama A&M, and of course, it was Alabama State. So as we go deeper down this list of bowl games, you see LSU beat Wisconsin 38-35, an overtime win for the Texas Tech Red Raiders over South Carolina in the Cotton Bowl 34-31. So as we get set to take on the offseason before season 5, I am anxious to see if we'll have any HBCU players that'll pop up on that Madden list. Now, Ken King, the quarterback I told you about that plays for Alabama A&M, he's actually a beast, man. He's actually a dog, like a kill glass status. So once we get to the off season, I'm going to show you everything. We're going to show you the progression. We're going to show you the combine and all that stuff, what the results of the combine. And if they get drafted, we will be keeping up with their NFL careers, no matter what HBCU school they went to. So I'm going to keep a special eye out on that. So you see the Oklahoma Sooners are the national champions. They beat the Florida Gators. And there they go on the front page of the Sports Illustrated magazine. Now let's get ready for the Season 4 review. After a phenomenal football season in Season 3, the challenge for Joseph Cooley was to carry that over in Season 4. And oh, what a phenomenal job he did with this Alabama State Hornet football team. Many are calling this one of the greatest teams in the history of Alabama State football. They represented the SWAC very well. A lot of times this team was underestimated and very disrespected by the poll voters. But in the end, we saw a lot of firsts from a group of freshmen. We saw some accolades made by a couple of players. But unfortunately, some players took a step back. Season 4 was no doubt a year to remember for this football team. For they are now 3 straight times SWAC champions. And for the second year in a row, they win the Motor City Bowl, defeating the Ohio State Buckeyes, a big-time program. Everybody was questioning, can we keep up with big-time college football programs? And we've proven that many times this season, with the exception of one situation. But we was able to finish with our highest ranking in the history of Alabama State Hornet football. The first game of the season, we went to unfamiliar territory. We went out to California and we took on the Cal Bears in Berkeley. number 17 in the country at the time. In this game, Bobby Newton's day ended early with a head concussion, but that defense stood up as Justin Scott, our JUCO senior, not only picked off 2 passes, but one of them went back for a pick 6. He was absolutely unbelievable in this game. In a game where our starting quarterback went down and the offense was struggling to move the ball at times, we needed our defense to step up big time. And no doubt they did. Players like Jesse Moore was making plays. Lawrence Taylor Martin, our new impact player to start off the season, was making some big time plays. But no doubt the biggest player in this game was Justin Scott, who finished this season with 18 tackles, 3 interceptions, and 2 pick 6s on the season. His last pick 6 on the season came in the following game. Now, when Bobby Newton went down, we had to depend on our redshirt freshman quarterback Peter Burnett, who threw his first touchdown pass in his collegiate career to Kevin Scott, our impact wide receiver. We took care of the Cal Bears. We defeated them 34-14. We go back to the East Coast with a W. The next game was even more challenging, for we went back to familiar territory this time. We started off this series at Kennett Stadium, and here we are again taking on the 20th ranked Iowa Hawkeyes. And what a moment this was for Jason Moore. Picking up the Hawkeyes in Kennett Stadium, he finished the season with 35 tackles, 2 interceptions, and along with the pick 6. Now, Bobby Newton didn't play in this game. He sat out with a head concussion. So we had to depend on Peter Burnett, and the passing game was very absent. But there was a lot of firsts in this game. True freshman cornerback Brad Anderson had his first interception in his career. Billy Logan with a big impactful touchdown. That was the first rushing touchdown in his career. But Lawrence Martin went off in this game. And on the season, 44 tackles, 26 for loss, 14 sacks, and a forced fumble. And on top of that, he had to serve a 5-game suspension. So with that said, this game went to overtime. And this is probably the biggest play in this series, as Justin Scott, the JUCO senior, picks the ball off at the Iowa 1-yard line and takes it all the way back for a 99-yard touchdown run, which beats Neil Bryant's record of 98 yards. I believe that was against Howard. He takes that back for a pick 6. We get out of Kennett Stadium with a big W on the season. We beat the Iowa Hawkeyes. Now, when we went down to play Prairie View A&M, disaster struck. Lawrence Martin was suspended. Justin Chambers was starting his second of 3-game suspensions. And there goes Jason White. Unfortunately for him, he didn't have the greatest season. He got injured, dislocated his elbow. He didn't even have 300 yards receiving, and he only had 1 touchdown. But this game was all about Kevin Scott and Bobby Newton. They connected for 3 touchdowns, and Kevin Scott was on one this day. Also, Jesse Moore was on one this day. The Mississippi State transfer had 47 tackles on the season, 26 for loss, 6 sacks, along with 3 forced fumbles. Even TJ Thomas got in on the action. The walk-on quarterback threw a touchdown pass to Kevin Scott down the left sideline. We took care of the Prairie View A&M Panthers. We go away with a big victory. We cruise to 3-0, and then we go up to the Horseshoe for the first time in the history of this football program. We're taking on the number 15 Ohio State Buckeyes, who come into this game at 2-1. And they were too much for us. We started off the game on fire, scoring on our first drive, and after that, it was all Ohio State. Bobby Newton got sacked 6 times in this game. And Sean Wade, the impact player at running back right there, the dollar value Eddie George, he scored 4 touchdowns on us. He was no doubt the best running back in the Big Ten Conference. But a spark in this game was Colin Robinson. On the season, Colin Robinson had 22 tackles, 8 for loss, along with 8 sacks coming off that edge. He didn't get an interception though. But Shaun Wade was on one on this game. Look at all those broken tackles, and look at this one on Jason Moore. Weight room right there. Unfortunately for us, we also had to deal with Joel Green, one of the best cornerbacks in the country that's looking to be a first-round draft pick come spring. We wasn't able to do anything with the Buckeyes. We couldn't match their physicality. We could not match their strength. We couldn't even match their speed on defense. They wiped the floor with us, and we had to go back to Montgomery with a sour taste in our mouth. We lost 45-20. So here we go back into Gumptown. We fall to number 21. We're taking on the Florida A&M Rattlers. And the legend is back. The man is back. The man all the way from VA, Justin Chambers. Despite missing 4 games on the season, he still had over 2,000 yards rushing along with 29 touchdowns. If he didn't get suspended, he probably is the back-to-back Doak Walker Award winner along with the Heisman Trophy. Bobby Newton had a decent game though. That was a spectacular catch there by Kevin Scott, the Ohio State Buckeye transfer. I don't know how many times I've said that on this channel. But another first was for William Dorsey, our true freshman middle linebacker from Greenville, Mississippi, getting his first career interception. Also, Kevin Scott got a rushing touchdown in this game. We wiped the floor with the Florida A&M Rattlers, and we defeat them 56-14 to improve the 4-1 on the season. Then we had to face a scare. We went down to Daytona Beach and we took on the 0-5, the winless Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. And in this game, they had us down 21-0. We had to fight back. And this critical pick 6 by Blake Rollins was the start of a major comeback. Well, a major wall climber in this game. We score, then they would score 2 more times. So then we had to keep scoring. The passing game was pretty much absent. Marcus Williams was the only receiver that caught a ball, and that was only 2 receptions. So in this game, Gene Singleton and Justin Chambers, they had to carry the load on offense. For they combined for well over 500 yards rushing, along with a total of 8 touchdown runs. Justin Chambers had over 300 yards rushing. Gene Speedy Singleton had the best rushing game of his career, along with 3 touchdowns. And this game had to be won in overtime, with Justin Chambers taking this run up the left side, looking for the corner for the touchdown. And instead of taking the extra point to tie the game, we decided to go for the 2-point conversion. And what better man to do it than Justin Chambers with the exact same play that we just previously scored on. So we get out of Daytona Beach with a big time victory because it saved our season. There's no telling what would have happened if we had lost this game. We probably get kicked out the top 25. So then we go to the fake rivalry game. We're back in the Gumptown. It was a homecoming vibe. We're ranked number 15 in the country. We're taking on the Mississippi Valley State Delta Devils, and there goes William Dorsey picking off another pass for that Alabama State Hornet defense. Lawrence Martin was not missing this game, but it would have been great to have him. But William Dorsey stepped up in his place. Also, here goes another turnover, forced by Kyle Gray, our starting free safety. Josh Smith recovered it. Everybody was on one in this game. Gene Singleton had a great game. Peter Burnett had a great game throwing the ball. Kevin Scott had a phenomenal game. Even Marcus Williams. Everybody on offense and on defense. And then look at Blake Koch on the sack right here on the play fake by the Delta Devils. Absolutely beastly. But what this game will be remembered for is Gene Speedy Singleton taking this handoff up the left side, going downfield, and scoring a 99-yard touchdown run, which passed Justin Chambers for the longest run in the history of NCAA football. Also in this game, Justin Chambers, the man all the way from VA, becomes the all-time touchdown leader in NCAA history, passing whoever that was from Miami, Ohio at 73. He now had 74. We defeated Mississippi Valley State. And then we have the Southern Jaguars. And oh, what a game this was. We went back and forth all day on offense. And then towards the end of the game, this heartbreaker right here by Mike Kidd broke our hearts. He takes the kickoff back with 13 seconds left to go in the game, and now we have to move faster than we ever had on offense. Now keep in mind, Justin Chambers got suspended again for this game, so we had to go without them. Gene Singleton and Billy Logan, though, they did their thing. But this play right here, I would never understand. Peter Burnett finds a wide open Kevin Scott, and he doesn't even make a play on the ball. We suffer our first loss in SWAC play in 3 years. We lose 56-49, and now we're angry. We're looking to take our anger out on the Alabama Crimson Tide. This is another chance to prove that we can hang with the big dogs, with the big boys in the SEC. There goes Leon Henderson, our redshirt freshman running back. He rushed for 2 touchdowns in this game, and he had 3 on the season. Also in this game, it was the Lawrence Martin show. Lawrence Taylor Martin picked off 2 passes in this game, and I believe he had 2 sacks. Our right outside linebacker is arguably one of the best in the country. Well, the best in the country. And there he goes right there, getting a safety on Courtney Russell, who was early in this season a Heisman candidate. Also in this game, Gene Speedy Singleton showed you what he can do on special teams, taking this ball up the right side for a touchdown that began a crazy run to end the season for him. And then you got Tim Brown. Big play swag Tim Brown. That's what we're going to call him from now on. Getting that big touchdown catch right there. And even Jamal Sykes made a big play, getting his first career interception as an Alabama State Hornet. And everybody knows him as a pass rush specialist. We beat Alabama by 40. We take them back to Tuscaloosa with an L, and then it's senior day. We're taking on the Jackson State Tigers. The 3-6 Jackson State Tigers, they just couldn't get anything going this season. And this game was all about the man all the way from VA and the defense. We put Bobby Newton back in the starting lineup, and he didn't have the best game. So the rest of the way, we depended mainly on Justin Chambers, but also Gene Speedy Singleton got some action. This man right here is no doubt the GOAT, and he is no doubt going to get drafted when it's his time to go to the NFL. So there goes Bobby Newton finding Kevin Scott despite the bad day. That was the only passing touchdown of the game. It wasn't pretty, but we did get the W. We beat Jackson State 28-19, and then we go down to the hole. We're taking on another team that's having a losing season, the Grambling State Tigers, in Eddie Robinson Stadium. Rest in peace, Eddie Robinson Sr. So this game right here was all about Cal Gray on defense, but the defense as a whole. As his sole free safety, Cal Gray had 49 tackles, 5 sacks, 3 interceptions, and 2 rushing touchdowns on offense. But in this game, he had 2 sacks and 2 picks. On this play right here, Justin Chambers, the man all the way from VA, passed Ron Dane to become the NCAA all-time leading rusher. And he finishes his junior year with over 7,000 yards in his career. Brad Anderson, our true freshman, was amazing. The true freshman All-American had 18 tackles, 2 for loss, a sack, 5 interceptions, a forced fumble, and a pick 6. What a way to start your collegiate career. And then Peter Burnett finding Kevin Scott. That was his 3rd touchdown catch of the game. We took care of the Grambling State Tigers 77-28. Grambling has been so garbage in this series. And then the season finale up there in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. It wasn't easy, but we did take care of the Golden Lions. And then on this play right here, Justin Chambers showed you why he was the GOAT. There goes Gene Speedy Singleton though. doing what he does best on special teams, taking the ball, finding a crease, and taking it back to the crib. He doesn't need a lot of crease to break through. This game also features something we haven't seen since season 2. A big man touchdown. The strip right there by CEDRIC McNeil, and there goes our starting defensive end Blake KOCH taking it back to a crib for another touchdown for this Hornet defense on the season. But then this play right here will be remembered forever, as Justin Chambers breaks the ankles of Mark Baker, the former All-American free safety. We took care of the Arkansas Pine Bluff Golden Lions, and now we have to take on the Texas Southern Tigers, who in this offseason, well, the previous offseason, picked up JAMAL from the Texas Longhorns, and this game was all about Gene Singleton. On the season, Gene had over 1,500 yards rushing, 12 touchdowns on 159 carries. But what he did over these last 3 games was crazy. Kevin Scott, though, 57 receptions, 1,475 receiving yards, 18 touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown on the season. That touchdown catch right there was amazing. And then look at Gene on special teams. 592 punt return yards, 6 punt return touchdowns. He scored 5 punt returns in 3 straight games. We took care of Texas Southern. We once again win the SWAC title. We beat them 49-12. And then our bowl game, the season finale versus the Ohio State Buckeyes. We wanted revenge, payback. Lawrence Taylor Martin had 5 sacks in this game. But this amazing catch here by Tim Brown will be remembered by every Alabama State Hornet fan for years to come. Look at that right there. An unbelievable catch. Just unbelievable. Marcus Williams, the Georgia Bulldog transfer. 32 receptions for just under 700 yards and 1 touchdown. He was able to move the chains for us, but he wasn't a big game changer. But CEDRIC McNeil, 2 interceptions on the season and a lot of deflections, including that big time interception versus the Ohio State Buckeyes, and of course the exclamation point by Kevin Scott from Bobby Newton. We defeated the Buckeyes 56-21, and now we carry this momentum over to season 5. If you stayed throughout the entirety of this video, you a real one. Thank you for watching. Peace.